At some point, the internet quietly convinced millions of people that Google is basically a free medical degree with Wi-Fi. Got a headache? Obviously, it's either dehydration or a rare jungle parasite lest, seen in 1873. Feeling tired? Could be stress. Or your organs politely resigning. And instead of calling a doctor, people do what any rational adult would do. They start typing sentences that should legally trigger a wellness check. The real problem isn't the questions, it's the confidence, the absolute unshakable belief that a stranger named Dr. Healthy Life 88 in a forum thread knows more than actual medicine. And trust me, the things people end up trying after those searches, that's where this goes from stupid to medically impressive in the worst possible way. 1. I once saw someone genuinely ask if you can cure a migraine by drinking extra hot water. Not warm, not soothing, boiling, like they were trying to steam clean their brain from the inside. And the logic was flawless in the way only internet logic can be. Heat expands things, so maybe it expands your blood vessels into behaving. Sure. Or it just gives you a migraine and a throat that feels like it lost a fight with lava. What fascinates me is the confidence. No hesitation, no, maybe I should ask a doctor. Just straight to self-inflicted soup damage. At that point, you're not treating a headache. You're auditioning for a Darwin Award. 2. Someone out there typed, "Can I disinfect a cut with vodka?" And you know what? Technically, yes. But the way people interpret that is the problem. They don't mean a careful dab with alcohol. No, they mean pouring half a bottle of something that smells like regret and bad decisions directly into an open wound like they're marinating a steak. Because if it burns, it must be working, right? That's the entire medical philosophy. By that logic, setting yourself on fire is basically advanced healthcare. Congratulations, you didn't cure the infection. You just gave your injury a personality crisis. 3. One of my favorites, can you lose weight by not sleeping? Which is a bold strategy. Not healthy, not smart, but bold. The idea is that if you're awake longer, you burn more calories. Sure, you also slowly turn into a hallucinating goblin who thinks eating shredded cheese at 3 a.m. is a personality trait. Sleep deprivation doesn't make you skinny, it makes you weird. Your body doesn't go, "Ah, yes, we shall burn fat efficiently." It goes, "We are under attack. Release stress hormones. Also, eat everything." You're not hacking your metabolism, you're just becoming a cautionary tale with dark circles. 4. There's a whole category of searches that basically scream, "I trust strangers more than science." Like the guy who Googled whether toothpaste can fix pimples. And yes, technically it dries them out. It also irritates your skin like it's being punished for existing. You wake up expecting clear skin, and instead you've got a red flaky patch that looks like your face tried to reboot and failed. But hey, at least your pores are minty fresh. Nothing says healthy glow like smelling like a dentist's office while your skin files a formal complaint. 5. I love the people who search, "Can I superglue a cut shut?" Because somewhere along the way, we collectively decided that hardware store supplies are basically just off-brand medical tools. And yes, medical-grade adhesive exists. That is not the same as the industrial-strength glue designed to bond metal, plastic, and your future regrets together permanently. These people aren't closing wounds. They're sealing evidence. One wrong move, and now your skin is bonded in a way that even your personality isn't that committed. Congratulations, you fixed the cut, and created a new, more expensive problem. 6. Then there's the classic. Can I microwave my socks to warm my feet faster? Which sounds harmless until you realize people don't stop at socks. They escalate. Suddenly it's heating random objects, forgetting about moisture, and turning their laundry into a low-budget fireworks show. Microwaves don't gently warm things. They aggressively excite molecules like they're hosting a rave. And somehow people are shocked when fabric plus heat plus poor judgment equals, "Why does my house smell like burnt decisions?" You wanted cozy feet. You got a life lesson in physics and regret. 7. One search I will never emotionally recover from. Can I clean my ears with a candle? Ah yes, ear candling. The ancient practice of convincing yourself that fire near your head is healthcare. The theory is that it draws out toxins. What it actually does is drip hot wax into places that already had a functioning system. Your ears are self-cleaning. They've got a whole built-in maintenance department. And here you come, introducing open flame like you're trying to evict imaginary demons. You didn't remove toxins. You just upgraded your problem to something a specialist now has to Google. 8. People also love asking, can I fix my back pain by cracking it myself? Which is code for, I watched one chiropractor video, and now I think I'm a licensed professional. So they twist, yank, and contort like a folding chair in a panic, chasing that one satisfying pop. And sure, sometimes it works. Other times you pull something so deeply that your body files a restraining order. The human spine is not a glow stick. You're not supposed to just snap it and hope it activates. That sound you heard? That's either relief or the beginning of a much worse story. 9. Then there's the guy who Googled, can I drink salt water to detox? Because nothing says cleansing your body like aggressively dehydrating it. The idea is to flush out toxins, but your body already has organs dedicated to that. They're called kidneys. They've been doing a great job until you decided to intervene like a middle manager with no experience. Drinking salt water doesn't detox you. It just convinces your body that you've made a terrible life choice. It's not a cleanse. It's a betrayal. 10. I saw someone ask if holding in a sneeze can train your body to stop sneezing, which is adorable in a deeply concerning way. Your body is not a puppy. You don't train it with discipline and denial. Holding in a sneeze is basically pressurizing your own face and hoping nothing important explodes. And sometimes things do go wrong, like burst blood vessels or worse. But sure, go ahead. Teach your body a lesson. I'm sure your sinuses will really respect your authority. 11. Another classic. Can I remove a splinter with a knife? Not tweezers, not sterilized tools. A knife. Because if something small is stuck in your skin, obviously the solution is to escalate dramatically. It's like using a chainsaw to trim your nails. And the best part? These people are usually calm about it. No panic. Just, yeah, I'll perform minor surgery on myself with kitchen equipment. At that point, the splinter isn't even the problem anymore. It's just the opening act for whatever disaster you're about to headline. 12. Let's talk about the people who Google, can I whiten my teeth with baking soda and lemon juice? Which is less a dental routine and more a slow, deliberate attack on your enamel. Acid plus abrasion. What could go wrong? It works technically in the same way sandpaper works on wood. Sure, it removes stains. It also removes the protective layer keeping your teeth from screaming every time you drink water. But hey, at least your smile is bright. Briefly, before it becomes sensitive to the concept of temperature. 13. There was a search trend about using essential oils to treat serious conditions. Not headaches, not stress. We're talking full-on, can lavender cure infections? Energy. And I get it, they smell nice. They make your room feel like a spa. But at some point, we collectively decided that pleasant scents equal medical authority. That's like trusting a candle to do your taxes because it's calming. Essential oils are great for making things smell better, not for replacing antibiotics. That's not alternative medicine. That's alternative reality. 14. One of the most confident searches I've ever seen. Can I reset my broken bone at home? Like it's a Wi-Fi router. Just unplug it, turn it off, and snap it back into place. Bones are not IKEA furniture. There is no instruction manual that says, Step 3. Realign with gentle pressure and optimism. You don't fix a fracture, you make it worse, then arrive at the hospital with a story that makes the staff question humanity. This isn't DIY, this is denial with extra steps. 15. And finally, the people who ask, can I ignore this pain and it will go away? The most human question of all. Because deep down, we all want problems to fix themselves if we just pretend hard enough. And sometimes, sure, it's nothing. But other times, it's your body sending increasingly aggressive emails labeled urgent. Ignoring pain doesn't make you tough. It makes you the sequel to your own bad decisions. Your body will escalate. It always does. And when it does, you won't be Googling anymore. You'll be explaining to a doctor how you lost an argument with your own common sense. 16. I found someone asking if you can flush your sinuses with soda. Not saline, not water, soda. Because apparently, if it's good enough to dissolve rust, it's good enough for your skull. The logic is terrifyingly simple. It fizzes, so it must clean things. By that standard, you might as well gargle with battery acid and call it a spa day. Your sinuses are delicate, not a clogged drain in a 2003 kitchen sink. But sure, go ahead. Introduce sugar, carbonation, and regret directly into your face. I'm sure your body will respond by thanking you politely and not staging a full internal protest. 17. There are people who genuinely believe that sitting in a sauna for hours will sweat out serious illnesses. Like, your body is a haunted house and toxins are ghosts that just need to be evicted with heat. So they sit there, slowly turning into a human dumpling, convinced they're purifying themselves, while their body is just desperately trying to not overheat. Sweating is not a detox, it's temperature control. Your body isn't going, yes, release the poison. It's going, we are literally cooking, please stop. At some point, you're not healing, you're just marinating yourself in bad decisions. 18. I once saw someone confidently suggest using duct tape to remove warts, not medically treated tape, just standard fix-your-broken-chair duct tape. Because if it can hold a car together, surely it can fix your skin, right? And technically, there's a grain of truth buried under layers of chaos. Some treatments involve covering warts. But people took that idea and sprinted straight into hardware store healthcare. Now they're wrapping themselves like a poorly packaged parcel, hoping their skin just gives up. You didn't cure anything. You just turned your body into a DIY project with questionable warranty terms. 19. Then there's the guy who Googled whether drinking vinegar daily could balance his body, which is a beautiful phrase that means absolutely nothing. So he starts chugging it like it's some ancient elixir, ignoring the fact that vinegar is basically edible acid. And yes, in small amounts it's fine. But these people don't do small. They go full medieval potion mode, like they're one step away from summoning a wizard. Meanwhile, their teeth are quietly dissolving, and their stomach is filing complaints. You're not balancing anything. You're just slowly pickling yourself. 20. Someone once asked if they could boost oxygen levels by breathing faster on purpose, which is technically true in the same way jumping off a chair is flying. So they sit there hyperventilating, convinced they're optimizing their body, when in reality, they're just making themselves dizzy like a confused goldfish. Your body already regulates oxygen. It's been doing that since birth without needing your input. You stepping in like an overconfident intern is not helping. You're not upgrading your system. You're just speedrunning lightheadedness. 21. I love the people who try to treat burns with butter, as if your injury is a piece of toast that just needs finishing touches. This idea has survived generations somehow, like a family heirloom of bad decisions. And sure, it feels soothing for about 3 seconds, right before it traps heat in your skin like a tiny, greasy prison. You didn't heal the burn, you just made it more dramatic. At that point, you're not doing first aid, you're seasoning the problem. 22. There was a trend where people tried to cleanse their lungs by inhaling steam mixed with random herbs and oils, which sounds relaxing until you realize they're basically turning their respiratory system into a scented candle experiment. Your lungs are not a spa diffuser. They're highly sensitive organs that prefer, air. But people are out here inhaling mystery vapors like they're unlocking a secret level of breathing. You're not detoxing. You're just confusing your lungs into wondering what life choices led to this moment. 23. I've seen people ask if drinking more coffee can cancel out fatigue entirely, like it's a math equation. Tiredness minus its caffeine equals productivity. And for a brief, glorious moment, it works. You feel unstoppable, powerful, slightly vibrating. And then your body crashes harder than a laptop running 47 tabs. Caffeine doesn't replace sleep. It just convinces you to ignore the problem temporarily. You're not fixing fatigue. You're putting it on hold with interest. And trust me, your body always collects. 24. Then there's the idea that you can starve a fever, which sounds like something invented by a villain in a medieval drama. So people start eating less, thinking they're strategically weakening the illness, when in reality they're just weakening themselves. Your body is literally fighting something off, and your solution is to cut its resources like a budget meeting gone wrong. That's not strategy, that's sabotage. You're not outsmarting the fever, you're just making sure it wins faster. 25. Someone once asked if they could use a hairdryer to dry out a rash, which is such a bold misunderstanding of both skin and basic logic. So now they're standing there, blasting hot air onto irritated skin like they're speed drying laundry. Rashes are already your skin saying, something is wrong. And your response is to introduce heat and friction, like you're trying to escalate the situation. You didn't soothe it, you just turned mild irritation into a full-blown protest. 26. I saw a guy try to reset his sleep schedule by staying awake for 36 hours straight, which sounds efficient until you realize he spent the last 12 hours talking to himself and forgetting why he walked into rooms. The idea is that exhaustion will force your body into a perfect reset. What actually happens is you become a walking error message. Your brain stops cooperating, your mood collapses, and your decision-making becomes, well, exactly like the decision to try this in the first place. You didn't reset anything. You just broke it temporarily. 27. There are people who think eating spicy food can kill bacteria inside their body. Because if it burns your mouth, it must be destroying something, right? So they're out here eating peppers like they're conducting internal warfare, sweating, crying, questioning existence, all in the name of health. Meanwhile, the bacteria is completely unbothered, just watching the chaos unfold. You're not curing anything. You're just suffering publicly and calling it medicine. 28. I once saw someone ask if they could build immunity by deliberately exposing themselves to illness without precautions, which is less science and more gambling with worse odds. Yes, your immune system learns from exposure, but that doesn't mean you should go around collecting diseases like Pokemon. That's not how this works. That's not how any of this works. You're not training your body. You're stress testing it in the most unnecessary way possible. 29. Then there's the belief that drinking excessive amounts of water can flush everything out. And yes, hydration is good, but people take it to Olympic levels, chugging water like they're trying to win a medal in poor judgment. At some point, your body stops benefiting and starts panicking, because even something good becomes a problem when you treat it like a competition. You're not cleansing. You're overwhelming a system that was already working fine without your interference. 30. I saw someone try to treat a muscle injury by walking it off aggressively, not gently, not carefully, aggressively, like they were in a motivational speech. The idea is that movement fixes everything, which is true, until it absolutely isn't. So now they're limping around, making it worse, refusing to admit defeat because stopping would mean acknowledging reality. You didn't power through the injury, you just upgraded it. 31. And finally, my personal favorite. People who Google symptoms, diagnose themselves with something catastrophic, panic for 3 hours, and then decide to ignore it completely. It's this beautiful emotional roller coaster where they go from, I have 3 days to live, to, it'll pass, without ever consulting an actual professional. It's not logic, it's not reason, it's just vibes. And somehow, this is the same species that invented modern medicine, which honestly makes everything you've just heard feel less surprising and a lot more inevitable. And there you have it, a full tour of humanity confidently turning minor problems into full-blown medical side quests, powered entirely by Wi-Fi's and terrible decisions. Somewhere between this might help and why would you ever do that? We've apparently built an entire culture of DIY disasters. Now, I need to know, what's the dumbest thing you've ever seen someone try for their health? Drop it in the comments and let's vote on which one deserves immediate supervision. And if you're feeling brave enough to admit your own mistakes, even better. Go ahead, subscribe, and stick around. Because trust me, this rabbit hole only gets worse.